down and they set that for severe storms. So once again, we have this line of severe storms pushing your Lewisburg, Rocky Mount, Wilson, Goldsboro, and Clinton. Hopefully once this line, our hope is once that pushes east out of here, that severe threat will diminish for the remainder of the evening, because it's just been very active so far with multiple tornado warnings, multiple severe thunderstorm warnings. We actually had confirmed observed tornado near Smithfield earlier this afternoon. So going back to that tornado warning storm for Granville and Vance County, that is now tracking towards Townsville, Williamsboro. So if you live in Townsville, Williamsboro, now is the time to get in your safe place, the innermost room of your house. If you live in a two-story house, the second floor, if you have a basement, that's a great spot to go. This warning, that is in effect until 6:15. And overall, we have that spin there, not as strong, but we still have a little rotation. So here's a look at some of those roads in the path of this tornado warning storm. Moving towards, I believe that is Hicksboro Road, also Rice Road. I believe that is Island Creek, Estates Road, Morgan Road. This does seem like a residential area once again. So if you do notice any of these communities, I believe that's Tungsten. That rotation is moving towards yours and towards your neighborhood. Island Creek Road, eventually tracking over the North Carolina and Virginia state line. So here's a look at that rotation. You have the green going towards the radar site, the red going away. This is where we have that spin. The rotation is now moving east of Dabney, now pushing out of Granville County. So that tornadic threat is going down for you, at least for now, with this particular cell in Granville County. So if you're just now joining us, we are now zoomed in to Granville and Vance County, looking at this tornado warning. We have the rotation, or we have the greens and reds, the green and reds very close together. That's east of Stovall, moving towards Williamsboro and Townsville. So if you're watching us there, now is the time to put your tornado action plan in place. Get away from windows in the innermost room of your house, because that's where we're seeing this. But overall, Steve, for the most part, this rotation is very broad, and hopefully that trend continues.
Absolutely right. Yeah, it looks like it's not nearly as tight as it was. You can see the brighter colors that we had, and then, of course, as we get a little bit farther along, this does seem to get a little bit weaker. So I like to see that, and I like what we're talking about with the potential of the atmosphere getting worked over. If that continues, then the showers that come a little bit later on this evening won't have the potential that these have had. It's a lot of energy here. We have strong upper level support. The winds aloft are moving super fast, so you can't have a vacuum in space, right? So as they move really quick, it's going to draw the air up from the surface to replace it. So that air is going up. That's giving those storms the potential to grow large into the atmosphere, and then all that rotation that we have, these start to spin up. Now, the cells that have had the most trouble are the ones that are breaking away, more of a discrete cell away from a main line. Those are easier to rotate, and we're seeing less and less of those right now. So if you look at the overall picture here, let me go ahead and zoom this out. Again, the line 95 corridor, we see all those yellow boxes, all severe thunderstorm warnings, which you have to take very seriously. And by the way, there could be a brief spin up anywhere in those severe thunderstorms, although we're not seeing at this point in time really good indications of rotation. There's the one warning that Brittany was talking about, which is quickly moving to the north out of our area pretty soon, and again, it's weakening. But the showers that you're seeing now in parts of Wake County, let me go ahead and put on a different radar that's not going to have rain fade as much, and they're basically looking at showers, heavy showers, absolutely. Still some wind too, but not severe. It's just coming down. It's just, we're soaked at this point in time, and the ground can't hold any more water, so it's all runoff. So we're going to have some flooding concerns. We have yet to see a severe flash flood warning yet, but we might here pretty soon. But those rainfall rates along that 95 corridor, we've been looking at earlier, upwards of 4 inches per hour. I mean, that is just sheets of rain coming down. Now, it might not rain in any one location for that long, but that's really heavy enough to give a quick inch and a half of rain, which is going to cause some runoff concerns. But where you see them, that severe thunderstorm warnings, that's, again, for winds, straight line winds, easily could be 60 to 70 miles an hour. I'll do an analysis on that in a minute, but take your eyes to over here in our western zones. That's just showers. That's telling us that's more of a stable air mass, which is great news. If the atmosphere is completely worked over, we could be done with the severe threat. Although, with that said, we're going to wait and see this little line. I'm going to show you this line that potentially could move in a little bit later on. We're going to watch this closely and see if it weakens as it gets closer to us. And which line are you suggesting, Steve? Let me just go ahead and show you here. It's this one back here. So this one's just into South Carolina right now. So if that one holds together with some intensity, we could have another round as we go here between 8 and 10 p.m. tonight of potentially some stronger storms. But the fun process is that could move into a more stable atmosphere and potentially not be nearly as the high severe risk that we've been dealing with for today. Also of note, what you see down in Charleston, some of the high resolution models we're looking at suggesting, not necessarily a guarantee, but suggesting that this could move right up 95 corridor. And in these areas, we are still a bit more unstable, and we also have more rotation, which could spin up a storm. So not in the clear yet by any stretch. But let me go back now and show you once again the one tornado warning that we have in effect at this time. Let's make sure nothing else has popped up. Report by Vance County, large tree down on power line at South Garnet Street and West Jennett Avenue in Henderson. That's probably with the cell we just were tracking. So let me take you in a little bit closer where we're still seeing the warning. We're going to go in and look for that rotation because a lot of times with the radar we can't see that. And this is really broad rotation right now, considering it was a tighter couplet. But you can see the brighter colors are going away. It's getting more elongated. Still going to have gusty winds. It's